Let's talk wheels, shall we? Roll that intro. Hello everyone, how are you? This is yours truly, Diabetic Cycling, coming at you one more time. Welcome back to those of you who subscribe. Welcome to those of you who see me for the first time. This is a channel where I talk about all things cycling with unbiased and transparent opinion from yours truly. The channel is basically sponsored by and brought to you by none other than my own damn wallet. So if that's your sort of thing, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and that bell notification so I can come see you more often. Okay, so let's talk about wheels. So if the only $6,500 Obermeyers and $4,500 Princeton Carbon Works, if those are the only thing that's good enough for you, this video is not for you. However, if you are like me, trying to pinch every dollar for maximum gain, maximum performance, without bankrupting your house, this video hopefully would have something meaningful for you. I'll be talking about 5-6 sets of wheels that I'm currently riding. Those will be all mid-depth wheels, somewhere anywhere from 40 to about a 52 millimeter-ish in wheel depth. So some of you may argue that the frame set is the single most important thing on a bike. Some of you may argue that the drivetrain is the most important thing on a bike. Some of you could also put up an argument that the wheels are the single most important thing on a bike. While I'm not here to argue who's right, who's wrong, wheels are definitely important because they are the only thing, well, the tires. So the wheels tires combination are the only thing that's actually making contact with the ground, the surface. Wheels rotate, propel you forward, getting you from point A to point B. So it's basically also the only thing outside of the cranks that's actually in constant perpetual motion while you are riding. So this is a very important component if you ask me. You can easily put on a set of excellent wheels on a mediocre bike and experience immense improvement. Consequently, you can put on pretty shitty wheels on a excellent, great bike, which I call top heavy. And that bike will be severely handicapped by crap wheels under it. As with anything, I want to emphasize there is definitely laws of diminishing return that's taking place when you talk about wheels. So if you compare a $500 wheel set to $1,000 wheel set, the $1,000 wheel set arguably maybe 2 times better, sure, could make that argument. However, that curve becomes gradually less aggressive as you go up this number, as case in point. $1,000 wheel set and the $2,000 wheel set. So is the second set at $2,000 really twice better than the $1,000 wheel set? You will definitely get lighter. You will probably end up with better components on those wheels, but to say they're going to be 2 times better, that's going to be a stretch. You can probably see where I'm going with this. Now let's talk $4,000 wheel set versus $2,000 wheel set. Now we're kind of seeing very small margin between the set that costs you $2,000 versus $4,000. Sure, the $4,000 set will probably be lighter than the $2,000 set. Maybe you will have a fancier hub that will roll smoother, possibly faster. But is it worth spending $2,000 more on top of that? Of course, if your wallet is loaded and you don't need to penny pinch, then sure, go get whatever you want, whatever that gets you out on the road, because that's ultimately what's important. What floats your boat, that gets you out on the road to ride more, that's what's important. If the gold foiled $4,000 wheel set is gonna do that for you, sure, go for it. But to me, I need to find that balance where least amount of investment giving you the most most amount of performance. So that's what I'm into, and that's sort of what I'm going to talk about, going over all the wheel sets that I'm currently riding. So let's go right into it. I got timestamps for all the wheel sets if you want to skip to a certain wheel set. Inevitably with this type of video, there are going to be some fanboys. So fanboys of an ABC company will get super upset with me if I say anything negative about that ABC set, because you own a set from this company, and if I say something, you may come at me. You don't know what you're talking about, and go die, go eat some more rice. I even get racial remarks, but that's neither here nor there. I don't really care about that type of immature attacks on me. Bring it on, I don't really care. What we need to focus on is, this is just one man's opinion. What I may call stiff may not be stiff enough for you, and vice versa. It's a one man's opinion. We could agree to disagree. All I'm trying to do is bring you my thoughts and opinions based on just countless miles that I put on these wheels, and so that I could add some value to your decision-making process if you're considering to buy one of these wheel sets. So that's sort of what the purpose of this video is. I'm not here trying to tell you that I'm right and your opinion may be wrong. Okay, so let's establish that as our baseline as we move forward. All the wheel sets that I'm going to present you today are tubeless, as I've been riding nothing but tubeless for the last 8 years. And all right, so that's about it. Let's dive right into it. Let's start with wheel set number one. I am going to start with the Mercury S5. It says handmade in Utah. Not sure if that's really true or not. Price point is pretty low. It retails, suggested retail price is $1,300, but you will often find these on sale from places like Competitive Cyclist for under $1,000, which is how I acquired mine. You would have seen these wheels on my VeloBuild VBR 218 review video. That bike was built with that frame set, and then Mercury S5 wheel set was the chosen wheel set for that bike. So internal rim width is somewhat narrow at 27 mil wide, and then external width is measured at 27 mil. They come in weighing it at 1,670 grams with the 50 mil depth of both front and back. Now, the 1,670 grams would turn off some of you weight weenies. Hey, that's too heavy for 50 mil wheels. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. I'm not here to discuss that. What I'm gonna tell you is that the wheel set is built absolutely bomb-proof. Of course, a lot of the guys will say heavier wheels are typically just bomb-proof. They go hand in hand together. Now, what I want to say is they are solid. They don't come out of true. They are built well. Basically, this is everything wheel set should be, minus all the marketing trickeries and, things that make wheel set appear more than what it should be. I've been running these wheels on various different bikes. They climb reasonably well, they hold the speed well, they spin up decently fast enough. If I were to give it a star rating out of 5 stars, I would probably give this wheel set about 3.75 stars or so. Basically, you are getting a solid set of wheels at a price well under $1,000 for small weight penalty. If you are looking for a wheel set, tubeless wheel set at mid-depth that is not gonna break your bank, I highly recommend Mercury S5, and they have great customer service on top of it. When I had to reach out to them, it was the language barrier was not there. So made in Utah thing, maybe, hopefully that is true. Great communication, speedy service. They answer questions pretty well. Okay, so the wheel set number 2 that I'm gonna talk to you about is my Shimano Dura Ace C50. I actually do also own Dura Ace C36 wheels, shown right here. So today I'm just gonna mainly focus on the C50 since I'm talking about mid-depth wheels only. So the retail price is here above $2,000, so these are not cheap. However, if you look carefully enough, you will find a great set of used Dura Ace wheels under $2,000. I picked up mine basically brand new. The guy, for whatever the reason, wanted to sell the wheels, and I picked them up pretty cheap. They come at the 50 mil depth Dura Ace wheels would come. These are, by the way, the wheel set that I'm referring to is the newer 12-speed group set. So it has that different hub body that would only fit the 12-speed cassette. Anyhow, so these wheel sets come in at 1,461 grams. The 36 mil depth come in about 100 grams lighter than that, by the way. So the rims feature 21 mil internal width with 28 mil external width. So these are pretty wide, well accommodating today's popular trends of running wider tires. Speaking of which, I only run 28 mil tires on all my bikes, all my wheels, all tubeless. And then the wheels are paired with very, very popular, if not legendary, Shimano hubs, which are breeze for maintenance. And what I noticed about these C50 Dura Ace wheels is how spooky, how dead quiet the hubs are. So if you're coasting, you're just freewheeling, it's a cricket chirp from the rear wheel hub. You hear nothing. So that may bother some of you may love that. I don't care either or, but I'm just here to report that they are very, very silent. You could literally sneak up behind someone drafting without making any noise and just launch to the next town sign. So very, very silent, which was highly impressive. Set aside from that, the wheels are just exceptional in rolling and also crosswind protection. These are actually my current favorite set of wheels, and these are nothing but just a pure PR machine. If you live in America, it's a PR. If you live in England, it's a PB. Every time I'm out somewhere and I can basically break my personal record ever on any segment with these wheels on there, because they're just so fast. Because again, while you're looking for that happy medium between the aero and the weight on, when you talk about the 50 mil depth, these really exceptionally execute that well, and that aero feel of just cutting through the wind, and the weight is pretty light. I mean, it's below 1,500 grams. That, to me, that's light enough. So these wheels are just exceptional. Again, like I said, my current favorite set of wheels. If I get locked up in a desert island with one bike and I can have only one set of wheels, and that island has a mountainous region, flats and rolling hills and everything, I would take the C50 all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Okay, so the next set that I want to talk to you about is the Aerodynamicist 4454. I have made a video on these wheels a couple years ago, which I'll link right here, where I put these wheels against the Zipp 303S at the time. So these wheels come at 21 mil inner width and 29 mil external width. They weigh in slightly under 1,500 grams, or like right around 1,490, I believe. And the wheel set does carry the Aerodynamicist branding from Hunt, so they are really well handling aero wheels. 44 mil up at the front, 54 mil in the rear. To me, perfect blend, perfect pairing. These wheels roll just phenomenally well, quick to spin up. They seat well. When you get the tires seated on there, they adapt the tires very well, hold the air very well. And one of the better sets of wheels that I've ever ridden, especially at the price range that these are available at. So 44 mil depth front wheel, obviously with slightly shallower than some of the 50 mil variants that I'm talking about today. Exceptionally good in crosswind situation. I don't have any qualms about these wheels at all. I would ride these again and again and again. Unfortunately and sadly, recently I sold my Orbea Orca where this wheel set was installed on, and sadly I no longer own these wheels. However, if opportunity strikes, I would be happy to get these wheels again. Highly recommend this set of wheels. Okay, next set of wheels I'm going to talk to you about would be the Zipp 303S. It's this wheel right here in the background. So this is my currently a backup set of wheels, not on any bike that's in my inventory. There's a reason, which I'll get to that in a minute. So a couple years ago, like I said earlier, I made a video about this wheel set versus the Hunt 4454, again, which I will link right here. So that's the most popular video on my channel. A lot of you have visited that video. So in that video, I said a few things, I questioned a few things, which I want to clarify given this opportunity. So this was my very first hookless rims, and at the time I was wondering if the rims being hookless had anything to do with the fact that I kept leaking. The wheels kept leaking air. So for instance, I would pump the tires to proper PSI the night before. Next morning I get up, severe loss of air, enough where I would have to pump the tires again before I roll out. So that became a big problem to me, and I really didn't care for that at the time. However, lo and behold, I found out over the course of time, wheels are not the problem. Matter of fact, the tire that's on here right now, this hasn't been pumped in over 2 months, because again, this is my backup wheel, and despite the fact that it didn't have any air pumped the last 2 months, the tires, this is probably good 50 psi still, when I only pump these full about 60 psi. So air is holding very well. So what was the problem? It was a certain brand of a tire, and that brand's a certain width tire. I'm going to talk more about that on my next episode, where I talk and compare tires only. So Zipp 303S, great set of wheels in terms of rolling. So they come with the 76D and 176D hubs from Zipp. They're entry-level hub basically. So above that is your ZR1 that you're gonna find in Firecrest line. And then top of the line NSW wheels get something called the Cognition hubs. So despite the fact that it's their lowest end hub, I have zero issue with the hubs. They roll spectacularly. So what's the problem? These come in at 23 mil internal width, so they are pretty wide, which is great for your today's wide tires. They come in at 1,530 grams, which I'm fine with. These are 45 mil depth. And so that's all fine and dandy. Weight doesn't bother me. Weight shouldn't bother you at 1,500 grams. 45 mil depth with a great set of hubs that are anchoring the wheels. The problem with this wheel set is that the wheels perform, especially the front, perform extremely poor in crosswind situation. Now, to a point where I actually went down when wind came from the side, when the wheel when the wheel set was on my Pinarello Prince. I was up in Figueroa Mountain in Central California, for those of you familiar with the area. Wind knocked my front wheel, down goes DC, and that's the day I said, okay, enough with this. Because up until then, I was kind of putting up with the fact that wheels had performed poorly in crosswind situation, but I sort of put up with it because, you know, the wheels still roll so spectacularly good. But that's the day I said goodbye. Has been relegated to being my backup set only, and that's the only issue that I find with these wheels. Of course, pick the day where it's nasty windy out here, and the wheel that I have on my Cervelo right now is the Zipp 303S, industry's worst crosswind protection wheel, so it is doing its best job to actually kill me. These wheels retail for about $1,300, but you will find a lot of Zipp 303S on sale by secondhand, used market, by owners who own them and decided to sell these wheels. So when you find those deals, they're going to be well under $1,000. If you live in non-windy area, and wind is not a problem for you, crosswind I'm talking about, then this will make a great set of wheels for you every day, whether training wheels or race wheels, whatever you could think of, crit race wheels. This will be great. Just make sure you do not ride in windy condition. Next set of wheels I want to talk to you about is my Black Inc FortyFive. 45 indicates the depth, obviously. 45 mil front and rear. Great depth for both being aero and light enough for all your climbing needs. They have Black Inc's hub that have ceramic speed bearings, and let me just tell you, in terms of rolling, I have not ridden another set of wheels that roll as good as this. Maybe the aforementioned Dura Ace C50 that rolls so smooth, so it's so buttery smooth. So I have no issue with this wheel set whatsoever. They come in, did I tell you they're 1,490 grams? They do retail at $2,300. So they're not cheap. Now this wheel set was spec'd with my Factor Austral Vamp, so that's where you would have seen me with this wheel set. And like they're meant to be, they're great rolling on flat, pure speed on down, rolling hills, big mountain to take down, no issue whatsoever in any topology. Now do keep in mind the front wheel is 45 mil, coincidentally same wheel depth as the Zipp 303S, which is also 45 mil depth. So at same 45 front wheel depth, you would see drastic difference in how the Black Inc FortyFive performs when in crosswind connection versus the Zipp 303S. If you haven't, trust me, the Zipp performs far worse against the same wheel depth of the Black Inc wheels in crosswind condition. Now, in a perfect world, what I would have liked Black Inc would do is pair the 45 mil depth at the front with maybe something like 50 or 52-ish in the rear to give it a little bit more aero. Right now, I think Black Inc's the wheel offerings are 30, 45, and then I believe it goes straight to 60. Great set of wheels. Arguably one of the best wheels I've had the pleasure of riding ever. Okay, next set is a bit of a cheat. It's a Hunt 5065. So it's a 50 mil at the front, so it fits our criteria for today, mid-depth 50 mil-ish wheel, but the rear is 65. I did that on purpose for my Pinarello Prince after I decided to get rid of the Zipp 303S off my Pinarello Prince. And boy, what difference did that make. My Prince from Pinarello riding on the 5065 from Hunt, absolutely just motors. So 50 mil depth, again, this is another, I keep coming back to the same point. 50 mil, again, you know, it's a little deeper than the 45 mil Zipp 303S, but I don't worry about side wind, crosswind condition when I'm on my Hunt 50 riding my Pinarello, because that wobble is not there. My front end is stable enough. So, you know, that's a testament again to the value that you can get from Hunt. I believe this set was right around 1,000, or maybe hair over or hair under, I forget. Despite the 65 mil in the back, the combination of the 50 and the 65 come in at only 1,530 grams. So that is pretty decent weight, especially when you take into consideration what the wheel set costs. When you look for dollar per performance ratio, this is a great set, despite 65 in the rear may not be suitable for your day-to-day, everyday, all-arounder needs. So that's it for this episode. I hope I was not too breathy. If you are in the market, if you have been comparing like a mid-depth wheels, perhaps I've added something that's valuable for you to take consideration. If you have any question, obviously, please feel free to leave a question down below, or any feedback you may have because you own certain set that I mentioned here, and you want to add your 2 cents, please feel free to do that in the comment section below. I love reading comments, and I try to answer questions as best as I can. All right, well, thank you for watching. I've been Diabetic Cycling. You've been awesome. Until next time, you guys keep the rubber side down, be safe out there, and be good humans. I'm out.